Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative kids, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Have a great time, come join us, come. Read and write, it is one. Feel comfort with each other as we friends with one another. So, reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative kids, come join us now. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Have a great time, come join us now.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today on Reading with Joan. I'm Joan. I have with me today and and who is on the top on the list on the sheet? What's your name? Unmute yourself. Cindy, and then who else?
Ayo.
Ayo. So we have our special guest readers, Chimdi and Ayo, reading for us today. I hope you relax and enjoy with us as we listen to their story. If I can remember very well, Cindy is reading a new book today, while Ayo is continuing Cold Case Christianity. And so we are going to ask Cindy to start reading first, and we'll give Cindy. So tell us the title of a book, and you start reading. Here you go.
So the title of the book is called Lulu and the Hamster in the Night.
Lulu and the Hamster in the Night. Okay, good.
And I'm going to be starting from chapter 1. Chapter 1. Ratty the Hamster. Lulu was 7 years old, and she was famous for animals. She was so famous for animals that people buying new pets for their children had begun to say, well, if things go wrong, we could always ask Lulu to have it. Lulu did not know they said this, and neither did her mom and dad. They might have minded, or they might have not. Lulu's parents were quite famous themselves for letting Lulu have so many pets. They said, the more the merrier, as long as Lulu cleans them out. Lulu did not just clean them out. She looked after them as if they were the most important things in the world, and to her, they were. At Lulu's school, there was a big girl called Emma Pond. Emma Pond had a hamster. Emma Pond's hamster had a hamster wheel. The hamster ran desperately on the hamster wheel, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. It ran as if it was trying to escape. Whenever it got off the wheel, it would look around as if to say, am I still in the same place? When it saw that it was, it tried again. The hamster wheel made a squeaky noise which Emma Pond did not like. She used to reach through the bars and poke. She used to reach through the bars with a pencil and poke the hamster off. One day, when Emma Pond's hamster had the chance, it bit Emma Pond. This happened on a day when Emma Pond had not been able to find a pencil and had used her finger to poke him instead. It was not a little bite, it was a big one, as big as a hamster could manage. The next day, Emma Pond came up to Lulu and said, I'm getting rid of my hamster. How? Asked Melly, who was 7 years old like Lulu, and her best friend, as well as her cousin. Emma Pond answered them each in turn. She unpeeled a sticky bandage from her fingers and showed Lulu 2 red holes. That's why, she told Melly. I'll just let it go if Lulu doesn't want it. Let it go where? Asked Lulu. Perhaps my uncle's. He's got a big field. We let our rabbits go there. What happened to your rabbits? Emma Pond shrugged to show she didn't care. Anyway, she said to Lulu, my house is on the way to yours. You could stop on your way home. Today? Asked Lulu. Today after school, said Emma Pond. Wait at my gate. If you're not there, I'll know you don't want it. I want it, said Lulu. Straight after school that day, Lulu and Melly rushed to Emma Pond's house. Wait, commanded Emma when they reached the gate. Then she went in and came back carrying a small plastic cage. Inside the cage was a rubbish heap of newspaper and hamster bedding and a hamster wheel. The rubbish heap twitched a bit. Is it a boy or a girl? Asked Lulu. Well, we never really, began Emma Pond, and then she stopped. It's a boy, she said. Or if not, it's a girl. Obviously. What's it called? Asked Melly. Emma Pond paused. It was almost as if she didn't want to tell them. Then she said, Ratty. Ratty? Repeated Melly. Ratty? Echoed Lulu. But you said it was a hamster. That's right. Called Ratty. Are you taking him or not? Demanded Emma Pond. We're taking him, said Lulu. Lulu and Melly walked home carrying the cage between them. With her free hand, Melly held her nose. I don't think Emma Pond has cleaned this cage for weeks and weeks and weeks, she said. At Lulu's house, they put the cage down on the doorstep and stretched their arms. We still haven't seen any hamster, said Melly. But even as she spoke, the heap of rubbish in the cage began to move. A pink nose came out, a ginger head with bulging eyes. It yawned, showing curving orange teeth. Next, Lulu and Melly saw a ginger body with a bare patch of skin in the middle. And last of all, a short, hairless tail. Then Lulu and Melly and the ginger-colored animal all had a good stare at one another. While they were doing this, Lulu's mother came out. What's that? She asked. It's a hamster, Lulu replied. And she explained about Emma Pond and Emma Pond's bitten finger and the field and the rabbits and the way Emma Pond had shrugged when Lulu had asked what had happened to them. Well, said Lulu's mother at the end of all this, I don't see what else you could do but to bring the poor little animal home. What's it called? Ratty, said Melly. Oh, said Lulu's mother. Oh. And then she had another look in the cage and said, Oh, I wonder what Nan will say. Nan was the grandmother that Lulu and Melly had shared. She was the best Nan in the world. She lived on the other side of town from Lulu and Melly, but she came to see them often. She was little and pretty and clever. She never complained. Not when Melly visited, and her artwork overflowed from her bedroom down the stairs through the kitchen and across the hall in a trail of glitter and pink and painty splashes and chopped up paper, nor when Lulu visited and left wet animals on the sofa and jam jars of wandering caterpillars on the bathroom windowsill. But Nan didn't like hamsters much. She didn't like the way they moved so quickly. She didn't like the small sharp nails on their starfish paws. She didn't like their raindrop eyes, or their twitchy noses, or their strange pink tails, or with the skin showing through the fur. Hamsters made Nan shiver. Perhaps we shouldn't tell Nan about Ratty, said Lulu to her mum. Not at first. First, said Lulu's mother, before he meets anyone, he needs a clean cage. Ratty seemed to agree. He grabbed the bars of his cage door with his long orange teeth and rattled them furiously. I'll do it now, said Lulu, and she did, while Melly watched from a safe distance and did not help. Melly liked animals, but not enough to scrub out their cages. That was why she didn't have any pets. She didn't mind playing with them, though. She built Ratty a cardboard box maze to explore while Lulu scrubbed. It had cardboard tunnels, tubes, and boxes to climb in and out of, peanut treasure boxes to be discovered, and Ratty seemed to enjoy it very much. The cage was beautifully clean by the time Lulu's father came home from work. He laughed at the hamster's name and said he had once known a dog called Tiger. But he's not the best-looking beast in the world, is he? Lulu's father asked. I'm glad he's not mine, agreed Melly. I don't like his teeth. And I don't like his tail. He needs something to gnaw, said Lulu. His teeth won't look so scary when he's worn them down a bit soon. And soon you won't notice his tail. If Nan sees him, she will notice his tail, said Melly, and she'll scream. She won't see him, said Lulu. And I'm done chapter 1.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you for that beautiful reading. I really enjoyed. I think Lulu is a series, right?
Yes.
Aha, okay, because we're still talking about the rabbit and it's so interesting to continue the story of Lulu. Okay, so what's your question today for us and the kids at home?
Okay. What's the name of Emma Hamster?
I know, but I'm not.
Oh, wait. Okay, Aya, you raised up your hands. What's the name of? Oh, wait. Oh, come on, Aya. What's it? Aya, what's the answer? Rassi. Okay, good. Rassi.
How did you say Ratty?
Why are you having the pressure? What are you having? She's been playing in the sun in the garden, so it's been a lovely day for us. Okay, so what's the quest? Another question? Do you have another question?
My next question is, what did Emma Pond use to poke Rappy off the hamster with?
Okay, what did they poke the hamster with? Anybody?
I know.
You know? Okay.
I know.
All right. This.
Can I say?
Did anybody at home knows? No. Okay. Let Ayo say, please. Okay. Ayo?
It's her finger.
Is it a finger?
Yes.
Okay, good. 2 fingers. So that's an additional point. Any point? So you say the whole thing. Her 2 fingers. So we just get the whole point.
Fingers or 2 points?
Was it 2 fingers or 2 points?
It was a finger.
1 finger.
1 finger, Jet. Not 2 fingers.
I think she is talking about the points that are.
Okay, at 2 points. All right. So I'm just trying to welcome somebody on on the chat. I'm trying to do this together. Don't mind me. Right. So thank you so much. Now it's time to listen to some music. Little J is going to play us violin, and she's going to be playing May's song. So can you please move away, Victor, please? Thank you. All right, so just hold on a minute. All right, so
Today I'm playing May's song.
wow, that is beautiful. Oh, the kids at home did not see you. Do you want to play it again, please? They didn't see you. The laptop was not turned to them. We are playing it again for the kids at home. Beautiful. Well done, Little J. Beautiful. Well done. So it's time for us to invite Ayo to read for us. Ayo, you'll be prompted in right now. So continue your cold case Christianity. What's happening to the investigation? We need to find out today. Good.
Cold Case Christianity for Kids. Carrying on with Chapter 4. Detective Jeffries starts to place these events the timeline. We know all of these events occurred between 61 and 70 AD. Yet, Luke doesn't describe any of them. Now, think about your summary of skateboard investigation yesterday. You wouldn't have been able to write about Lacey and Mr. Martin because those interviews hadn't happened yet. So, why do you think Luke left this information out of his book? Because it hadn't happened yet, asked Jason tentatively. I think that's reasonable, replies Jeffries. So that means Luke wrote the book of Acts before 61 AD. That would explain why. The death of Paul, Peter, and James, and the destruction of Jerusalem are missing. Okay, but I still don't get it, you admit. How does this help us to know if we can trust what the Bible says? Jeffries looked thoughtful. Luke wrote 2 books. Before he wrote the book of Acts, he wrote the Gospel of Luke. That means Luke's Gospel was written even earlier than 61 AD. Jeffries finishes his timeline. Then he continues. So, can you see how close the writing of the Gospel of Luke is to the actual lifetime of Jesus? This Gospel was written early while people who really knew Jesus were still alive. If the Gospels contained lies, the people who knew Jesus would have spotted them. It's hard to fool people who know were there and knew the truth. Jeffries folds his arms and looks out at the cannon for their responses. Wow, that was a lot of work just to answer the first question. But is there any evidence to prove what they said was true? Asked Daniel. You're talking about question 2. Jeffries replies. Yes, we have to do a lot of verifying. For example, we've been digging around the area described in the Bible for years, and we've discovered many of the cities mentioned in the Gospels. You ask, is that what we call archaeology? Yes, says Jeffries. There's more, he continues. We've even found evidence verifying the words in the Bible to describe people and events. The cadets looked puzzled. Let me give you an example, says Jeffrey. Imagine if I lived 100 years from now and wanted to write about your skateboard investigation. You mean in the future when we're all riding hoverboards? Jason asks, causing some laughter among the cadets. Jeffries keeps going. Yes, but imagine I'm writing about you from the nation of France. If my writing was historically accurate, I'll mention you by name, right? I'll use your correct names. Jason, Daniel, Hannah, and the rest of you, right? I suppose so, says Jason, but I don't get your point. Well, continues Jeffries, if I was making up the story from France 100 years from now, how would I know what names to use? Think about it. In France, the popular names for boys and girls would be different. Maybe Serge, Neville, or Blaise. I guess so, says Jason. Well, the writers of the Gospels always use the correct name that were popular in the area when Jesus lived. At the time when Jesus lived, even though the popular names in other parts of the world were very different. Those ancient writers couldn't research this on the internet. They wouldn't know the popular names during Jesus' lifetime unless they were there. This is another piece of evidence to prove the Gospels were written early and the right and right in the area where people would know if they contained lies. But how do we know if they weren't lying about the stuff that we can't verify with archaeology or names? Asks Jason again. Jeffrey sits down with the cadets. Let's jump to question 4. Did the authors have reason to lie? What would they get for their trouble? They ended up dying for their claims, and there isn't any evidence that they got rich or successful or even popular. Many of them were put to death for teaching about Jesus, but none ever changed the story. Jason almost seems convinced, but that's another question. Okay then, what about the question we skipped? How do you know the story of Jesus wasn't changed over time? Maybe the first version didn't even contain the miracles I read about last week. What if those parts were added later by people who had something to gain? Everyone in the room gets suddenly silent. Ooh, says Jeffrey, smiling at Jason. Now you're starting to think like a detective. I'll help you answer that question the next time we meet.
Okay, thank you. That was brilliant reading, Ayo. And we are back to the screen. So tell us, you have any questions for us from what you read today? I think today we were discussing a lot of things about whether the claims were true or whether they were lies. So I want you to ask us the questions you have, and we ask the children at home. Okay.
Question
Pardon?
to it.
I can't hear you.
I have a hard question, and there's 3 answers.
What is your question?
As Detective Jeffrey was given an example if he lived 100 years from now and was writing about the skateboard investigation yesterday. What are the names that Detective Jeffries gave?
I couldn't hear those names. I only heard like Sergey and Lancers.
Well, he got one.
Yeah, I couldn't hear them properly.
So we didn't hear the names properly. Could you ask a simpler question that will be easy for all the kids to know?
Okay. What was the gospel called?
What was the gospel
Of Luke called? Not Acts, but the other one that he wrote.
Luke.
The other gospel he wrote? Yeah, it's Luke. He wrote Acts and Luke. So the gospel he wrote that is not Acts is Luke, because his name is Luke.
Gospel.
Huh? Yeah, Acts is like
It's more the stuff after.
It's more the stuff after Jesus. But he said, what are the books that Luke wrote? Is that what you asked? Or what are the gospels he wrote?
I think she said what's the gospel wrote apart from Acts.
Okay, so apart from Acts, the gospel he wrote apart from Acts is Luke, because his name is Luke.
Yeah.
Are we correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So, kids, thank you so much for reading for us today. We really appreciate your reading time and how you keep us on your feet with your questions. Little J, thank you for playing for us today. And kids at home and the kids that were in the 1410 networking event yesterday, we do appreciate you. Remember to submit all your tasks an assignment and all your drawings, your poems, your song on our group page. We want to see it and we want all the parents to see what we have been doing. So it's like a collective group where we share all the work that we do. It's private. Please submit all your work there. And just today, we went to send out a pen pal letter, which Big J wrote. Have you sent out your pen pal letter? Kids, remember to send out your letter to your pen pals. And we hope to see you tomorrow on Reading with Joan. And if you have not signed up for the 1410 interaction network interactive event, please, you can still sign up today. Next week is going to really be fantastic because we'll not just be doing quiz, we'll be introducing the kids into debating. And then we'll now have a grand finale. So we look forward to you joining us if you have not joined. And so thank you so much and have a good evening. From us, we'll just play the song before we say bye-bye. So in between the song, we'll just say bye-bye. So that is us. Reading with Joan, a place for all the fun. Creative kids, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, a place for all.